So June is here, which means that we are halfway through the year. We are in the 6th month of 2021, getting through it together. We are plowing through this year. And it also means that I'll be flipping the page of my calendar to June and also setting up a new bullet journal spread for the new month. So today I'm going to be taking you guys through all of my June pages, showing you how I set them up and how I'm getting organized for the upcoming month. Because at this point, my bullet journal is my only sense of structure in life, so it's very important that I get these pages ready or I'm completely lost. This month I'm gonna stick with my more simple journaling style, but lately I've been experimenting with collaging, so I'm gonna throw a couple bits and pieces of that in this plan with me as well. Alright, so with all that yammering out of the way, let's just jump straight into this plan with me. The first spread that you see me setting up here is my June calendar. I am a big sucker for the OG vertical calendar that was introduced to me when I discovered bullet journaling a couple years ago. I just find this calendar really works well for me and is just a classic favorite, so we're just gonna keep it going. I love this calendar for a couple reasons. First, I just like the way the month is displayed in a list, but also I just love how it's so easy to set up. I don't have to draw a bunch of boxes, and yeah, the low maintenance vibes are just the kind of thing I'm looking for. So I'm not going to go ahead and decorate this right away. What I decided to do for this plan with me is I first wanted to set up all the kind of basic elements of each spread. And then after I did that, then I went in and did the collaging because I wanted to kind of lay the foundation first. That's the way my brain rationalized it, at least. So the second spread I'm setting up is my monthly task list. This is pretty simple. I like to have 2 pages because I write personal tasks on the left and more work-related tasks on the right and YouTube and all that stuff like that. For my task list, I like to use an Alistair method task list, which is a way of scheduling tasks beforehand by allowing one column to represent each week of the month. So then for different tasks that you want to do different weeks of the month, you put the task bullet point under those weekly columns. And then this allows you to kind of pick out when you want to do stuff and plan that ahead. By the way, I know it's been a while since I put out my Alistair method how-to video, so I'm definitely going to be doing an updated version of that soon. Alright, we are moving on to the third spread of this setup. This guy is pretty simple. It's just a notes page, and I'm just going to save this for any kind of notes I want to write down. I have a couple projects that I have going on this month. I'm getting a new bookcase for my bedroom, so figuring out that whole project and other stuff like that just is going to go in here. So now we are transitioning into the collaging, or I guess the decorating part of this video. I decided that I wanted to incorporate a kind of like script vellum paper element to my spread, but I didn't have any of that lying around, so essentially what I did was I took some tracing paper and I placed it over top a piece of line paper and lettered out the lyrics to a song. And this is kind of a fun DIY way to get that kind of lettered scrapbook paper look without buying it yourself. I kind of thought I would do either a yellow, brown, peach color scheme, something really warm for this month. And because I wasn't sure if I wanted to use this pattern in a yellow color or more of a neutral gray, I just decided to letter it in both color tones and then decide later. That's kind of how I like to collage. I like to give myself a lot of different options and then just kind of see where the collaging process takes me and just kind of go with the flow and let whatever wants to happen, happen. So now that I have all of the papers I want to use prepped and ready, I'm going back into the first spread that I set up, which is my monthly log, and I'm going to do a little bit of collaging in the bottom right corner. I'm still pretty new to collaging, but one thing I kind of had a bit of a challenge with, or was a bit of a kind of fun struggle in this setup, was figuring out where to collage on these spreads without taking away a lot of valuable writing real estate. So far, when I've collaged my other spreads in this journal, I've always added the collages after I've completely filled the page with the writing that I wanted to. So figuring out where to put collages on a blank page before I add all of the writing, or in this case, all of my appointments, was definitely a very interesting challenge, and it's something that I think just requires a bit of practice to get used to, and I'm excited to kind of work on it and get better at that. This is where I decided to throw in that DIY script vellum that I made earlier. The lyrics that I wrote out are from the song Yellow by Coldplay, and I'm just cutting out the first 4 words of the song and pasting it here. This theme kind of turned into a bit of a astrology and galaxy inspired theme, I guess. I don't know, I don't really pick specific themes when I start my spreads. I just kind of go with what I like and what I'm inspired by, but I guess you could say we kind of have a neutral astrology vibe going on, maybe. I don't really know. Maybe if you guys have an idea of what this is, let me know below. So that's kind of the main collage on the right side of the page. I really tried to keep it contained to the right hand corner so I didn't take up all of my calendar space. And then I'm really carefully stamping only the moon and stars on this mountain stamp because I wanted this to kind of act like a arch of design over my header, which is my focuses for the month. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm installing a bookcase in my room, so that's a really big project I'll be working on, but I also really want to focus on applying to jobs this month, and I'm not really sure what else. I left a 3rd bullet point, and I'll just kind of fill that in as I think of things. So moving on to the collaging process for the task list. For this spread, I kept the collaging really simple because I usually use my task list quite a lot and I didn't want to take away any precious to-do list space. Lately I've been seeing these really cool moon phase stamps on Instagram and in other people's journal spreads, and I've really wanted to incorporate something like that in my spreads, but I don't have one of those stamps. So I decided to just kind of make my own design on this piece of craft paper and just kind of hodgepodge it together. It's definitely not anything super exact, but it kind of has that messy stylistic element that I think works with the whole collage look. After I cut up my custom moon collage piece, I'm gonna go in and write a segment of a quote from the Instagram account Morgan Harper Nichols. This is a part of a longer poem that she published on her Instagram account, which I will include here so you guys can reference it if you want. But I just included the segment, "You Are Worth the Quiet Moment." And this is something that I wanted to have in my journal to remind me of this month, because sometimes I find that I can just unconsciously rush myself into doing everything. And I wanted to kind of remind myself to slow down, take a breath, and that, you know, I'm allowed to take a moment for myself and to go at my own pace. So now we are at the last spread that I'm going to be collaging in this monthly plan with me. This collage, I don't know, I always find, guys, that the collages that I don't really know what they're going to look like going into it always look the best. I don't know what it is about this collage, but it's my absolute favorite of this entire setup. I don't know, something about it is just really cool and I'm absolutely in love with it. But yeah, this is what the collage looks like. It came together really quickly. It just has those 3 elements, the words, this little craft paper square, and the bird stamp, and sometimes the simple things just look really awesome, and I think this is an example of that. And with the bird stamp placed, this is the final piece of decoration I'll be adding to my June setup. And here's a little flip through of the entire setup so you can see everything that we put together today. Lately, I've not really been super motivated to use my journal, to be honest, but by going in and adding some decoration and collage to these pages, it's definitely been a really nice motivator, and I'm actually really excited for the first time in a couple months to use my journal. So if you've been feeling like you've been in a bit of slump with your productivity or journaling system, maybe just, you don't have to try collaging, but just change up your system and that might help you. It certainly has helped me, and with that little motivational bit at the end, this is the video finished. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed planning with me today, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye everyone.